I'm Molly.
And I'm Diana. We went from local BFFs to long distance ones who talk so much it's like we live together.
Since we know we're not the only ones with this kind of connection, we decided to open up the conversation and invite you inside. Welcome to Long Distance Roomies.
Let's get into a little housekeeping. Welcome inside.
Welcome to the house. The roomies are here.
Yeah, this is what we're calling the housekeeping session, where the kind of just we're walking in the door. We're going to do a little vibe check. We just want to see where both of us are at. And today we're obviously really excited because we're finally starting the pod. Yay.
This is huge for us. This is something we have been wanting to do for years. And the time is right now. So this is episode 1 of Long Distance Roomies.
It's so funny because it used to be, so like in 2012, when podcasts were first coming out, I had a writer tell me that she would love nothing more than to listen to podcasts of mine. And that was literally 14 years ago. And then I didn't do it. And then there was a period of time where it's like, everyone has a podcast. And it was kind of eye rolly. But now we've actually like apexed that moment and like, or excuse me, eclipsed that moment. And now it's just like, of course we should be doing a podcast. And I don't feel bad and I'm not embarrassed and I don't even care about Cringe Mountain. Like, I'm ready to climb. Let's go.
Well, and this is such a great way to connect with like-minded women. The reason we wanted to start this pod is because we are best friends who live across the country from each other, and we are constantly yapping to each other nonstop throughout the day. And I feel like everyone needs a friend like you or like I am to you. And so we want to invite all of these women in so that they can be part of our friendship. And we always say that we feel like even though we live across the country from each other, we're roommates. So everyone can be our long distance roomie.
Totally. And I also think, when you're younger, like in your 20s and stuff, or even earlier, like when you first get into college, you have all these roommate problems. Like you might even transfer whatever school you live in because you had a bad roommate freshman year. And then when you get into your late 30s, early 40s, you start to actually figure out or think about how you can devise the plan of starting a dog farm with all of your best girlfriends and just living with women. So something happens in those 20 years where actually just creating like a coven of like-minded women actually sounds like the most appealing thing ever. And I think part of what we want to do is reflect on that trajectory and how we got here and keep growing.
That is so well said. And I think the reason why we made the flip of having roommate problems with women to only wanting to live with women as the ultimate dream, and dogs, or for some women, cats, is that we were both married and divorced and lived with men. And it can be a little dicey. But when you actually have your best friend who you can commiserate with and who understands you and who can empathize with you, it is the best feeling in the world. And, that's the type of roomie that I'm looking for.
Me too, totally. And it's all about resetting and filling our own cups. And honestly, we don't also feel like we don't ever want to live with men again. I look forward to the day where I have partnership again. But there's this moment now where how do you know who you want to live with in that way or cohabitate with in that way until you know who you are personally? And I think individual time by yourself is so important. And then to bring in a long distance for me along the way is the best compromise. And it doesn't feel like compromise. It feels like finally being in flow.
It's a gift. Our friendship is a gift, and we want to share that gift with a lot of other people.
So let's move into our first segment that we are yeah. This is our dirty laundry section. This is our confessional space. And I think something that we are both really into right now and wanting to talk about is setting up and letting people know that in this kind of single moment, that we're in that we are also practicing celibacy. So Molly, why don't you share some of your moments of celibacy and how you got here? Since you led the way, and I'm accepting your influence always, no matter what, and that's part of the core of our relationship is accepting each other's influence. So,
We do, and we're both trying to figure things out. And so if we find something that works for us, we want to share it, and we don't lead with our egos. So we're like, yeah, tell me what's working for you. I want to try that too. So that's kind of what we want to share with all of you as well. So when it comes to celibacy, I have been celibate and not dating for almost 6 months, which is insane to me. I I was in a relationship with my ex-husband for 18 years, and then I was dating basically nonstop for 2 years after my divorce. And I do have a voracious sexual appetite. It's just who I am. I know, Diana, you are the same way as well.
same as is.
But being in relationships with men who just couldn't meet me where I was at, it got frustrating. And I think also when it comes to sex, you realize that it's few and far between that you find someone that you actually have great sex with. Most of the time it's just kind of like, it's good, it's nice, but it's not that life-changing sex. And even if it is that life-changing sex, it can still be an incredibly toxic relationship. So being able to not only not have sex, but just completely stop dating, not look to be dating, when people ask me out in the wild, I am saying no, like literally just completely closing it off. It is incredibly empowering. And not only am I using this time away from the distractions of men and dating to work on myself and build businesses and get in the best shape of my life and take courses and like do all the self care, but I am channeling that sexual energy that I leaked out to men back into myself as creative energy. And you
I love
just
that.
feel so inspired.
Well,
And
so sorry, there's something that I've been seeing that's like popular, and I think the New York Times maybe just or the Cut just did something about the loneliness influencer. And I saw one of the clips that they had focused on, which was like this 22-year-old girl documenting coming back into her apartment at 6 o'clock at night in New York City and being like, I don't have any friends and I don't do anything. And this is what it's like when I'm at home in my, and watching it, I'm like, this girl is 22 and lives in New York City and she's like, has nothing to do and no friends. And so, what I want to just flag in this is, and we can talk about it more in terms of like, I'm curious what you think the difference is. And but that's not what we're doing here. I think having like a calculated moment of me time where you're taking that creative energy or like remetabolizing energy that was going out to men and putting it back in yourself as a form of creativity is a, especially after spending the first half of your life always putting energy into men, like that's an okay healthy reset. We are not by any means suggesting to participate in the loneliness influencer and culture move that's happening. Like I very much, not like I'm putting a timeline on it or anything, but when I first decided to become celibate in March, I said I would do it for like 6 months. But like after the summer, I really want to spend the summer by myself, like summer of love, Diana, not summer of love, finding someone else. And then just like see where I got if I just put all of my energy into myself for 6 months.
yeah, and I think that's a really important point to stress. This is not the 4B movement where we think, don't date, don't be with men ever, don't have children. This is just for us, it's a reset. It's a time for us to be by ourselves, to recalibrate our systems, to reprioritize. And it is the most incredible, empowering experience. And I'm starting to think about, okay, when do I want to get back into the dating pool? Because for me, it has been almost 6 months. I'm not like desperate to do it. I'm not like, oh my God, I want to start dating. I'm so excited. And I feel like maybe I'll probably wait until I feel more of that, because I think there's probably more of this time where I'm in this cocoon, and it is that caterpillar cocoon butterfly transformation that you get to have in
Totally.
this of celibacy. And I'm like, what more am I going to learn about myself? What else am I going to
Mhm.
be able to create? What else am I going to be able to do? But when I do get back into dating, it's going to be from a very different place, not of trying to get some man to choose me, not of totally centering my
Mm-mm.
life around like having a romantic relationship be the be all end all. I think it's
Yeah.
really shifted me permanently, and that is the goal, and that's really what we're talking about here.
And also, any person who I talked to who did like a celibate moment all met their person after that chapter. And so I would be lying if I said that desire wasn't there. Like, of course that's what's there. Like, I do want to be with somebody, but it was honestly my daughter's babysitter or nanny who, after I was telling her this like horror story from the guy who asked me to pay for my half of the date after my grandmother died,
And he asked you out.
he stopped me on the street. And I should have known because when I told him I was traveling, he offered me to sign up for a travel credit card through his referral program. So I knew something was off with money. A
Oh
text message that I got
boy.
literally said, "Hey, sorry to hear about your grandma. Could you Zelle me $74, please?" Like, it's literally in the same message. I did give something for everybody at the funeral to laugh at, so I'm glad I could be the comic relief. But it was after that my daughter's nanny was like, I met my husband actually after I decided to swear off dating for like 6 months. So once once your child's nanny is saying something to you, it's like the universe is
You should probably
sending you a
listen.
message.
And
Yeah.
I've also heard multiple other women say the same exact thing, that after 6 months, a year, sometimes 2 years away from dating, that they found their person. And
Yeah.
I didn't go into it saying I'm going to take 6 months off of dating. I just had a horror story of a date after a really disappointing relationship and 2 years of disappointing dates, and then my whole marriage and divorce. And I was just like, you know what? I think I just need a break. And then it's turned into this definitive time in my life where I'm celibate and I'm
Mhm.
not dating. So it's like, I don't think you necessarily even need to go into it with a strict intention of it. I'm doing this for this amount of time. It's just, if you feel the need that you need a reset and you need a break, listen to your gut and take it and see what happens.
I think that's a perfect note to go into our tea time, our therapy recap sesh, the love seat moment. I'm going to grab my D cup, which is not the size of my bra. It's just the initial of my name.
I don't have my teacup. I have my water glass, but
Mm,
bottoms up. So both of us are major proponents of therapy,
yeah.
and therapy has totally changed my life in so many ways. And one of the things that I was talking about this week in therapy was having having to have a conversation with someone who has done me dirty. And I got really worked up about it, and my therapist is like, "Okay, remember the assertiveness formula." And this is something that she's always talked to me about. And
Wait,
Diana,
Molly, you're about to go into it, but I just want to say I should have thought about this morning when I was dealing with stuff with my daughter's dad.
yes, it's
Like,
really helpful.
yes.
It's really,
Yes.
really helpful. So it is
Okay.
literally a formula for assertive communication, but doing it in a respectful way. So you can either start it with an empathy statement of trying to put yourself in their shoes or not, but then you talk one about the situation and you say like, when you blank, so when you did whatever, I feel or I felt. And so you say exactly how it made you feel, whether it was sad, angry, upset, annoyed, pissed off, whatever it is. And then you say the explanation because, and then it's okay. So what is it about the action that led you to have that feeling. And then you finish off with the suggestion. So this is what I would like, I would need, I would prefer moving forward so that we can have an outcome that makes sense to me. So I'm like, okay, this is actually really, really helpful because I wanted to fly off the handle and bite someone's head off, but that wasn't going to do any good. And it really was just coming from
That's
a
so
place.
amazing to hear. Sorry, just have to flag, like for anyone listening, because Molly just has like the most genteel, easy personality, but also there is she
There's a
also
side
has
to
a
me.
catchphrase.
Kill, kill, kill.
Stab, stab, stab.
Stab, stab, stab. Sorry.
Stab, stab, stab. Molly loves to just stab, stab, stab. And in the tone, and I think she stabs harder with the tone of her voice because it's just really sweet. She never raises her voice and it's just stab, 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 stab.
It's, I think I'm incredibly kind and empathetic, and that has
And
fucked me
patient.
over, and patient, and that's really fucked me over a lot of times in my life.
Totally.
So as I've gotten older and experienced a lot more, I've really tried to focus on having more of a backbone, being more of an open communicator, not being so codependent, not being afraid of what people's response is going to be. And with that, there's been this cutthroat side of me that has come out
Hmm.
that is really that I have to make sure that I keep it in check, but I'm so grateful that I have it because it just is for me, it's a form of self-respect. I I am caring and patient and empathetic. But if you really disrespect me and you do it in a blatant way that is just like beyond the pale and totally beyond any boundary, I will like slit your throat.
Oh,
Metaphor.
I mean, one of my old roommate, my actual old roommate, used to say about me, and she used to she still does. She calls me Didal, but she'll say, "Hell hath no fury like a Didal scorned." And my own family says it about me. Like I've had writers when I was a showrunner's assistant, like the bottom level in a writer's room. I had one of the upper level writers tell me, the person on this staff that I'm most terrified of is you. Because she was like, you're just so nice and you're unkind and patient. You're getting so much done and you're there for everybody. And so if you get pissed off, I can only imagine what happens. I'm like, that's right, girl. That's right.
That's right. And I think a lot of times it is really satisfying to be able to go in for the kill and stab, stab, stab.
Mm.
But it's also, for me, I know certain times it's coming from a place of ego and just wanting to be like, I'm better than you. You're an asshole. I'm a good person. And I don't need to do that. I know in my heart that I am a good person and I'm a better person than this other person is. But
Yeah.
that's like whatever. It is what it is. What would actually help the situation is for me to communicate effectively and try and mitigate it from happening again in the future.
Well, and that's just like communicating boundaries. And I
Yes.
remember my therapist once said to me, my first therapist love, Evan, he had to he broke up with me because I moved to New Jersey, which is one reason why I should have stayed in California. Just kidding. But I just remember one time being really frustrated because I was having the same conversation over and over again and restating my boundaries with my mom about something. And he said, that's the thing when you're with boundaries, like you're not ever just stating them once. You're stating them and restating them all the time. And actually what you're doing is just practicing you're strengthening the muscle and you get faster, clearer, and better at it every time you do it. But if you think you're only stating that boundary one time to that person, you are selling yourself short of what the expectation is because you should just expect that you have to do that all the time.
You have to enforce the boundary.
Yeah, because people
It's
without
not just
boundaries will
stating it.
cross the boundary. Yeah,
They
that's
will.
exactly
They will.
right.
And if you I think so often if you speak directly to someone and you call them out, but you do it in a way that is compassionate and respectful, they you can shame someone into behaving right. And so I
Totally.
never underestimate the power of shaming an asshole, but doing it with your head held high. Boy, have I done that. And that has really given me some gifts in my life, being able to do that.
Well, what do I always say it's not about the high road, it's about the fair road.
Yes. Yes. Fuck the high
I
road.
don't need to take fuck the high road. The high road does nothing except make you have to walk higher up a hill.
Because most people aren't going to take that high road.
No. No, they often take the low road. So why does your road have to be so much higher? It can just be like the fair middle road. So why don't you tell me one thing right now in your life that you're loving that is giving you like peace and filling your cup?
So one thing that I am obsessed with is the Ladder fitness app. It is
Love it too.
it is just the best. This is like, I am someone who has never been able to get into a flow of working out regularly. It's just never been my thing. And for the past 6 months since I stopped dating, I have been working out basically 5 to 6 days a week, every single week through this app.
Amazing.
I'm in the best shape of my life. I feel so good.
Your
And
arms look
yeah,
really good.
thank you. And and there is something really empowering about being really hot, being really fit and in shape, and not letting a guy have sex with you. It's like, this is for me.
100%.
This is all for me. I'm not doing this for some guy to think I'm hot. I'm doing this for me.
Totally. For me, the thing that I love right now, because I'm also doing ladder, and thank you, I finally am starting to have abs again because of you. But I have my yoga speakeasy. I found a community of very rich ladies in my neighborhood who have taken me in under their wing. They're in like their 50s and 60s, and this woman has a hot yoga studio in her basement that she teaches out of, and she only has 3 classes a week, 9 to 10:15, and I try to go once or twice a week. And these women have like held me together in this tiny space, and it just feels so good, and I'm so grateful for them. So yeah, and they're all woo woo like us,
That's so
which
that's so cool to have a hot yoga studio in your house. Wow.
I know. I mean, the stories that this woman tells, they're like, she's wild. I love her. She also believes the earth is flat and that snowstorms are sent to us by the government to get us sick. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, listen, to each her own.
To each her own. We have plenty of woo woo beliefs. So
That
you know,
actually, I think this is exactly. I think snowstorm sent by the government is a good moment to drink to bring us into our weather forecast. Yes. So our weather forecast is our weekly energetic weather report where we're going to tell you Molly has done the research for the week. She's so woo on all things astrology. And we're going to just share what the planets are doing so you have someone to blame other than yourself for when the shit hits the fan.
exactly. I love astrology. It's something that I got into really over the last 10 years, and it has totally changed my life. And I think a lot of people love astrology to understand themselves, which is great, but it's also really helpful to see what's going on with the planets each week so you can plan ahead. It's like, you know what to wear during a rainstorm. You know you're not going to go run a million errands when it's snowing 5 feet. So this is what we're trying to do for you. So today, Tuesday, June 9th, Venus conjuncts Jupiter. And this is the universe is basically your hype woman today. This is one of the luckiest days of the year. So use this time to start a podcast, send a pitch, send a text message, ask for a raise. And if you don't use this time, it is on you because the green light does not stay green forever.
Amazing.
On Wednesday, Mercury squares Saturn. So it's a little bit more of a crunchy, not so helpful transit. And it feels like everyone is reading your texts like they're looking for evidence. So, like a thumbs up emoji becomes an entire incident. So be
Mm,
annoyingly specific or prepare to do damage control.
that's good for me to know.
Yeah. Then
Okay.
Saturday, Venus enters Leo, and this is the time of year to embrace your inner party girl. Like, make the reservations, say yes to every plan that you are invited to, wear the outfit that you've been saving for a special occasion. This is the special occasion. And then on Sunday, we have the new moon in Gemini. And this is like a reset for the cosmic group chat. So prepare to have a lot of conversations, meet a lot of new people. There's just new energy, new vibes coming through. And anyone that you've been meaning to reach out to, this is the time. And the worst thing that they can do is leave you on red. So you'll be fine regardless. So that is your weather report. Dress accordingly.
I love that. Okay, and then now my side of the woo, I'm going to pull a card from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck that Molly sent me that I do with my daughter.
It's my favorite Oracle deck. I pull a card every single day. I highly recommend that all of you, our listeners, our fellow residents, are doing this too. It's just such a good way to set the tone for the day and just keep something in mind as you go about your day.
So this one is oh my gosh, so appropriate. The Farther Gate, bold step forward.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Especially, I know, we're launching the pod, we're going for it, we're putting ourselves out there. Okay, the Farther Gate, the next experience, legacy, evolving, bold step forward. When the Farther Gate card shows up, it is a clear call to lift your eyes to the horizon and begin to walk toward your future. You are marching in place right now, stirring the dust, but not getting anywhere. Trust that your forward movement will lead you to a new destination you have already set for yourself, but perhaps forgotten or neglected because of your everyday busyness. The Farther Gate comes to tell you that an ending is at hand and that you can leave the old behind. Let it peel away like an old skin you shed. Do not hesitate. Cross the threshold boldly, and you will be rewarded. If you continue marking time instead of moving, you will miss the opportunity. Oof, that hits. The gate is open. The next landscape of your life is within reach, but the window of time to pass through it grows shorter. Do not dally. A gift of the Farther Gate is to bring you to the fullest expression of your gifts, perhaps for the first time. It is an invitation to a sacred passage, to a new discovery, and both great challenges and opportunities. It is not a graduation. There are no rewards other than the exploration itself. You have been a farmer far too long, tilling the hard soil, and that now bears little fruit for you. Time to put on the explorer hat once again. I mean,
that is literally perfect. I think
yeah.
both of us are leaving phases where we've been just kind of circling and not making a ton of progress. And it feels like all of the sudden we are getting shot out of a cannon and moving forward. So we are not dilly-dallying at all. Great card pull.
Thank you. It reminds me, actually, I think we talked about this, but I had opened an old journal to start like writing things that I wanted to manifest a couple months ago. And I got really upset because I had started writing in it in 2019. And what I wrote that I wanted to manifest were the same things that I was writing 2 months ago. And none of it had really changed. And like the last 6 years has been really, really difficult. But now what I think about is like, it didn't change, but so much of my life has now changed. And so now who I am now trying to manifest those things and do those things is where it'll actually be different and happen.
And I think we can always blame COVID because COVID messed everything up and everything changed. And then through that, it really was a catalyst for both of us to get divorced and totally change our lives. So, I totally understand the frustration, feeling like you weren't able to manifest everything and you're still manifesting the same things. But think of how much more wisdom and experience you have. And now you are actually able to hold and receive what you were manifesting. Before you couldn't.
I totally agree. Yeah. And I also feel so much more prepared for it. So much, I feel like, of what I was, some things came too early and I was not prepared. But then that also is the preparation,
Who are
What
we to argue with divine timing?
exactly right. Okay, now let's go to our last segment, which is the fridge note. This is what we think of as like the last thought we want to leave each other before we go to our day and, each go to our proverbial office or work. Or sometimes it could be the passive aggressive clean your dishes, take out the trash, but just like a little drop thought for each other. So I'm going to, ready?
Let's do
I'm
it.
ready.
I'm ready. Let's write our fridge note. You ready? Can I show you mine?
Please.
I love manifesting with you.
Oh, thank you. I love manifesting with you too. We've done a lot of it in our lives.
We really have. And in our now 10 years of friendship, I think it was all leading up to this.
For sure.
Can't wait to see your butterfly wings, my favorite caterpillar. Oh, I love you.
I love you too.
We're so lucky.
I know. I know. Okay, so next episode, we're going to workshop the exact text to send your ex on his birthday. We've done the research and we have made the mistakes.
Indeed. So as we close out our show, I think we should sage the room, get rid of any bad vibes or any
muck.
energy, anything that is holding us back. You've got your sage. I've got my sage clearing spray that has crystals inside of it. So you're gonna do that. I'm spraying. It smells so good. I'm already feeling the energy clearing.
Me too. Mwah.
This really was a treat. So thank you all for being a part of our first episode of Long Distance Roomies. We post our episodes every other week on Tuesdays. So we can't wait to see you next time, and we'll see you in the mailroom.
See you in the mailroom.